The Austin studio for the Joe Rogan Experience pulsed with its trademark red neon haze at 2 p.m. CST on November 25, 2025, which meant it was 1 o'clock a.m. PKT in Pakistan, where night owls in Lahore were already refreshing Spotify for the live drop. The set stripped down to black walls, 2 high-back chairs, a table littered with elk jerky and Black Rifle's energy drinks. Jamie Verlin hunched behind the glass pane with his laptop glowing like a command center. Joe Rogan slouched in his usual black tee, beard trimmed sharp, eyes sharp as a Bowie knife after a morning elk hunt, and across from him sat Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, lean and weathered at 41, in a faded Invictus Games hoodie unzipped over a plain white tee. His ginger hair cropped short, tattoos peeking from his sleeves. Here not for the Netflix docuseries Heart of Invictus but for a raw, unscripted sit-down to announce a new mental health initiative for veterans. The first hour unspooling like a bromance in the making, Joe cracking up at Harry's stories of sneaking beers and eating, Harry genuinely grinning at Joe's tales of UFC cages and ayahuasca visions, the two Mina warrior archetypes from different worlds bonding over dead mothers and the grind of public scrutiny. Joe even pulling up a clip of Harry's 2017 polo match on the big screen, calling it straight savage, and Harry admitting he'd listened to old episodes of JRE while humping rucks in Helmand Province, the vibe so electric that Jamie texted the producer "this slaps," until Joe, mid-sip of his drink, leaned forward with that casual menace he deploys like a feint, and said, "All right, Harry, real shitty you've built this whole brand on trauma porn. Spare the Oprah sit-down, Meghan's suicidal breakdowns, but you also admit in the book you had palace shrinks on speed dial, private jets to therapists, more resources than God. So when you say the firm left you high and dry, is that narrative or not? Because from where I'm sitting, it sounds like you had every tool but chose the victim card for the clicks, and the room went vacuum sealed, Harry's easy posture snapping rigid, his blue eyes flashing the way they did in the Tiger gunship when incoming rounds whistled, and he set his water bottle down with a deliberate clink, voice dropping to that clipped Sandhurst steel. "Joe, with respect, you don't get it. We were trapped in a machine that leaked every cry for help to the tabloids. Therapy? Sure, if you wanted your wife's pain splashed across the sun the next day." And Joe, unfazed, chuckled low. "Trapped? Bro. You're a prince with $1 billion security detail and a black hammocks. I grew up scrapping in Newark, no silver spoon. But when shit hit, I didn't write a tell-all, I fixed it." You could have Ubered to a shrink incognito, but nah. Better to blame the corgis and cash the Netflix check, and the air crackled, Jamie's fingers frozen on the board. No commercial break in podcast land, just raw feed rolling to 15 million live listeners. Harry's jaw ticking like a metronome, and he fired back, "Easy for you to say from your Spotify throne, platforming every anti-vax crank while my family gets death threats from your fans. You mock psychedelics in one breath, peddle them in the next pick a lane, Joe." And Joe leaned in closer, eyes gleaming. "Psychedelics saved my ass from depression, man, but you drop acid at Courtney Cox's, chase the dragon and spare, then cry pour me when the blowback hits. That's not trauma, that's tantrum." And Harry's chair scraped back an inch, the sound amplified through the mix like nails on chalkboard, the chat exploding with fire emojis and skull reacts, and he stood, all 6'1" of coiled X cavalry, unclipping the lav mic with a rip that echoed like Velcro under fire, and said, voice steady but laced with frost, "I came here for warriors, not to arm wrestle a comedian who thinks elk steaks fix everything." Enjoy the episode, Joe. Yeah, it's the last one you'll get from me. And he tossed the pack onto the table, the thud landing like a gauntlet, and walked out, boots thudding on the concrete floor, past the soundproof door that swung shut with a pneumatic hiss, leaving Joe staring at the empty space for a beat, then bursting into that booming laugh, turning to Jamie. "Holy shit, did he just pull a Gibbs?" "All right, pull it up, let's roll the highlights," and the feed cut to intro music, but the damage was atomic, the 4-minute clash clipping virally before the full ep hit Spotify at 3 p.m. CST. Harry bails on Rogan topping trends from Karachi cafes at 2:30 a.m. PKT where users dubbed it Jab Shahzadani Mick Drop Gia, to London pubs where lads chanted get in the bin, Harry. And the title Prince Harry kicked off Joe Rogan Experience after heated clash with Joe Rogan blazed across every feed, a raw detonation that weaponized their 2021 vaccine beef into full-spectrum war. Arch Ewell's PR scrambling with a statement on misaligned platforms, while Rogan's camp leaked texts from UFC fighters saying Joe cooked him, and in Montecito, Meghan paced with a glass of rosé tilde copyright, kids asleep upstairs, knowing this one would echo louder than any Oprah couch. By 3:00 a.m. PKT the full episode shattered Spotify's daily record with 52 million streams. Pakistani meme lords stitching the walkout to dramatic sitar riffs captioned Jab Joni royal family Kambeta Qaldia, while American bro pods replayed the tantrum line like a victory chant, Joe dropping a post-ep Instagram reel of him deadlifting 400 pounds with the caption when trauma meets brother respect the exit, question the edit, racking 8 million likes before breakfast, and Harry, wheels up on a Gulf Stream to Vancouver for Invictus Prep, went dark on socials. But the Sussex machine fired back with a Substack essay from a former Palace insider accusing Rogan of bro-toxic masculinity masking as free speech, and the net split like Brexit 2.0, Rogan stands flooding Arch Ewell's comments with elk emojis and co-parter, spare, while the squad mobilized 250,000 signatures on a change.org petition to deplatform the deer hunter. Death threats pinging both ways until Austin PD posted extra at Rogan's gate, and Neil Young, still salty from 2022, tweeted a harmonica emoji in solidarity with Harry, only for Joni Mitchell to reply make it make sense, reigniting the Spotify purge wars, and Jamie Vernon, the unsung hero, trended for his frozen puppy face during the clash, spawning 1,000 reaction vids from Bucharest to Mumbai. While in Pakistan's dawn shows at 7 a.m. PKT, hosts debated Kya Joe Rogan ni had par kiya Harry ni overreact kiya? With one panelist quipping Rogan's like that Uncle Latif who calls out the family secrets, and the mental health initiative Harry was pimping. Donations tripled overnight from irony tourists who donated $10 to fund his next therapy sesh, Netflix bumping the doc premiere by a week to surf the wave, and Rogan, nursing a post-fight hype on his porch overlooking the Colorado River, FaceTimed Bert Kreischer, man, I thought we'd bond over the mushrooms it turns out he freezes like his Todger in the North Pole, and behind the scenes, Spotify execs sweated bullets, their $250 million Rogan renewal looking like a bad bet if Harry sued for defamation by Elk, but Joe waved it off in the next step with Elon Musk, calling the prince a good dude who picked the wrong battlefield. And slowly the blaze banked to coals, Harry surfacing in a soft focusing post from Whistler Slopes with vets, caption strength and silence, no Rogan shade, Joe pivoting to Bitcoin and Bigfoot, but that 4-minute inferno etched eternal, the podcast's Watergate, where a ginger prince and a bald barbarian proved some beef sage like fine whiskey hotter with time. 5 years on, the walkout was canon in every comms syllabus from Mud Austin to Nust Islamabad. Dissected in the Rogan Rift, when pod privilege met Palace Protocol seminars where profs screened the clip then polled who won the war of words. Splitting classes 60-40 for Joe every time, and Rogan, pushing 62 with a salt-flecked beard and a knee brace from one too many jiu-jitsu rolls, immortalized it in his 2030 memoir Burn the Mic, devoting a chapter to the day a Duke ducked, writing Harry didn't bail because I was wrong he bailed because I was right. And truth tastes like elk jerky, gamey as hell at first bite, the book hitting #1 while Harry's third tome Echoes of Exit glossed the clash in 2 pages, some arenas demand gloves others, a swift retreat to higher ground, selling briskly to the faithful, and the infamous chair, that black leather throne of truth, got auctioned at Sotheby's for $1.2 million to a Texas oil baron who parked it in his man cave next to a signed Ollie glove. With proceeds split to Invictus and Rogan's fight for the forgotten animal shelter, a quiet date on neither man acknowledged, and every November 25th, the anniversary, Rogan dropped a flashback ep with guests like Tim Kennedy reenacting the Mick toss in slow-mo, ratings spiking like 21 vaccine days, while Harry, silver-threaded and stateside permanent, keened a Vancouver TEDx on the cost of candor, slipping in "I've learned some conversations end before they scour," to polite applause from a crowd half wishing he'd name names, and in Pakistan, where the user scrolled X at 1:00 a.m. PKT with chai gone cold, the clip had morphed into folklore, sampled in Desi rap battle Sajab Rogan ni Pucha, Harry ni Darwazikola, and late-night chai stalls debated it like cricket rivalries. Uncles nodding. Joe spoke for the common man, Harry for the crownless crown, and fate, that cosmic bookie, dealt a final hand at a 2032 Veterans Summit in Aspen. Joe and Harry booked as co-headliners by a clueless organizer, the room thick with ex-Marines and PTSD counselors, and after a panel on resilience without royalty, they locked eyes across the hors d'oeuvres, Joe raising a mineral water to walkouts that win wars, Your Highness, a Harry clinking with a wry half-smile, to questions that cut deeper than any blade. Joe, no mix, no malice, just two survivors toasting the scar that bound them, and somewhere in the ether, Diana watched with a knowing wink, the title fading from headlines but carved in the code of cancel-proof beef. Sometimes the hottest clash isn't fists or frost, but a door slammed on and dream deferred, proving even princes and pod gods bleed the same red ink of regret.